Kuhn is the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the ball. Pyle driving his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort. Y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the here comes the here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal, paving your way to fantasy glory, acting as your lead blocker to fantasy titles, excellence, the moral high ground, as we discussed last time, and everything in between. It's great to be back. Seems like forever since the Wolf and I have done a show at our regular spot. Like, what's up with that? Once in the last 2 weeks, wasn't even at our regular time, but it's all right. All's well with the world. We're back. We're leading up to Thursday Night Football. We got a lot to talk about. And I, of course, am your host, Nat the Truth Jones. With me, as usual, the Wolf of Roto Street himself. Wolf, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And I'd love to banter. I know we were just both talking about Mike Williams screwing us over on Monday night. I just needed the kicker, but needed to beat the kicker. But we have Alex Collins. We have huge news, and I already have like 30 questions on my Twitter. And so we're going to try to rip through our preview show. As you guys know, we typically will go about 40 minutes of the preview show and then spend the rest doing all your questions to kick off. I'm going to try to go even faster tonight. So everybody out there, get your thumbs up in, help us get to more people. But also, if you're on Twitter, for whatever reason now, the comments don't show up live on StreamYard anymore. It used to be Periscope. They've rechanged everything. I see that there's a good amount of you, about 100 already just jumped in on Twitter. That's awesome. I appreciate it. But if you want to get your question in, you have to jump in over on either YouTube or Facebook, Roto Street Journal. You can find us on either. Get your question on over there. I'm not trying to promote us and make you come find us in other spots. I'm just telling you, if you want your question answered, and I know a ton of them have already come in, and you're on Twitter, it doesn't show up on StreamYard anymore. So please find us on YouTube, on Periscope. We're going to get into your questions, I promise.
Yeah, tell a friend. Bring them on. The more the merrier. So we're going to just tentatively call this episode the Alex Collins Spectacular.
Yeah.
The news breaking out of NFL world is that Chris Carson, who happens to be featured running back on my fantasy team, who now, of course, is injured because everybody on my fantasy team is injured, he will not be playing, which sets the table potentially for Alex Collins to be a must start. These guys pretty much split carries right around evenly last week. Collins actually outperformed Carson.
Oh, yeah.
Carson has a neck issue, which kind of, reared its ugly head. And so here we are. Wolf, talk to me about this.
Yeah, for one, the Carson issue could be bigger than originally estimated. Dr. Jesse Morris, we know we see him hitting up Twitter all over the place. He was speculating he might go to the IR. This could be long-term. So hopefully if you had Carson, you were smart enough to go get Alex Collins, who had a big game, as you said, outplayed Carson last week, saw about 40% of the snaps, did see 14 touches compared to 16 to Carson, or at least 14 opportunities, ended up catching 2 balls, 34 yards, 46 yards on the ground. So 80 total yards and a TD for 15 fantasy points. Alex Collins was the RB16 last week in a timeshare with Chris Carson. You got to imagine coming into tonight, he's going to probably play at least 60% of the snaps, see about 80% of the rush share, and not be splitting this. And yes, it's coming against a tougher defense, the Rams, but this offense, dating back to last year, this reminds me, and it kind of makes me feel like the universe is weird in ways where we had a Thursday night that Carson missed and Carlos Hyde became the guy of the night. It's Thursday Night Football. Do I play Carlos Hyde? Do I take that early plunge on him? And thankfully, we said yes. We believe in this offense enough that even if we don't love Carlos Hyde, we think he's going to find the end zone. And he came through. I think he ended up getting like 20 fantasy points for us. To me, this is just a weird universe repeating itself. We got Thursday night, Alex Collins lined up for the featured rushing workload. I think he's finding the end zone. I think he's getting you about 50 to maybe even up to 100 yards. We'll see. This is a tough defense again, but he can catch the ball. He can do it all. I do think they'll bring in Travis Homer, DJ Dallas on third downs. That's what they've been doing with Chris Carson all year. That's not going to change for Alex Collins. But every time this guy has gotten an opportunity, I mean, and I'm going to say I'm biased because, one, I'm an owner. So always, like when you have the roster, you always have that bias going. But two, I've loved the guy since dating back to the Ravens. We picked him up at like week 5, and he just became an RB1 down the stretch. This guy has always played well when given the opportunity. I don't buy the people that he's just a plotter. He has some pretty decent juice. I'm telling you, 80 yards, touchdown. You're going to be happy if you play him tonight. So we'll get to all your specific questions about him. And I know there's going to be a lot of flex ones too, rather than just running back, because he slots in at running back 20 right after Damian Williams for me, and maybe just as good, if not better, because of the offensive improvement here. I know I'm going a little long on.
It's okay. It's a big story, and I think it's going to be and I'm just going to jump everybody because I have a question.
That's the benefit of hosting.
Right. This is the privilege of actually being the guy that does the show with you. I'm in a weird spot. So I think I have to play him tonight, and I think I have to play him at running back. And the reason is my running backs are Cordero Patterson,
he's in.
He's in, and Christian McCaffrey, who maybe is in and maybe isn't in. So I figure what I do is I really don't have anybody else. I think I have Eli Mitchell at running back. So I picked up Collins. I think I got to play Collins at running back tonight, right? If McCaffrey ends up being healthy, obviously I'm going to flex him. Which is
just going to be funny to see, like McCaffrey in the flex. It's almost like disrespectful to the guy. He deserves your running back one slot. You just have to give him that pep talk ahead of the game. Hey, this wasn't to demote you. This was, I had it. You had the 9:30 game. You had the Thursday night game. And I didn't know if you were playing. I'm sorry, Christian. Use this as some motivation. Slap him on the ass and send him in. Yeah.
It's like bringing LeBron off the bench. But
yeah, you're doing that exactly.
But I mean, I got to do it.
100%.
And honestly, losing Carson and being thin at running back, being able to pick up Collins, I feel good about that move.
Right. Worst case scenario, you have Patterson locked in. I don't think you're benching him at this point. We'll talk about him in a second. But ultimately, if you didn't play Collins and McCaffrey sat, who would be your next running back two up?
Eli Mitchell.
Yeah, and he's a big question mark too. He might not even play.
No,
you're playing Collins.
My running back situation went from deep and awesome to as thin as paper. So, but I feel lucky to have gotten Collins off a waiver wire that was otherwise pretty terrible. All right. So we're going to get into the injury.
Tonight.
I think I'm going to, and I'm having a little Thursday night action anyway.
Awesome.
All right. So we're going to if you see me looking down at some point, I'm probably changing my lineup. But all right, we're going to get right into the injury report. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to keep this going fast. We'll try to keep it to the relevant injuries, and then we'll get into higher, lower, Hail Mary, and all that. And then we're going to hit what's probably going to be a pretty big mailbag. Everybody smash the like button, please.
25 in 7 minutes.
Give us a like. Seriously, give us a like. Give us a love. Give us a thumbs up or something. We really appreciate it. Gets more people here trying to grow the site. You guys are, of course, the backbone of everything we're doing. So spread the word and give us some love. We appreciate it. All right, quarterbacks. Ben Roethlisberger dealing with a pectoral issue and a hip issue. I don't know how you'd be able to tell. The guy literally can't move out there at all. He could not be more washed, and he's not practicing Wednesday. Might just be because he's taking a rest.
Absolutely. And he's going to play. It doesn't really matter either way. Deontay Johnson, we'll talk about in a second. That's it. You're not playing Big Ben in fantasy. You don't really trust any of these other receivers. Najee Harris, of course, still solid, but disgusting. Just, he'll play. It sounds like Jimmy Garoppolo remains sidelined. We're going to talk about Trey Lance in depth and higher, lower Hail Mary. So we'll save that, but it is Trey Lance week, folks. That is the biggest story other than Alex Collins week, of course. It's also Trey Lance week, and I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, he's been in stealth, sitting in the weeds on my bench all year, and now all of a sudden
here it comes.
All right, Teddy Bridgewater dealing with a concussion. He did return to Broncos practice on Thursday, getting in a limited session. I got to say, I don't feel too good about the Broncos playing either with concussed Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock.
Yeah, he's been, though, Bridgewater, a significant upgrade all year compared to Drew Lock. It was
definitely.
Drew Lock really hindered this offense when he came in last week. So I love the fact that Bridgewater is at least getting in practices, not to use him, but it will at least boost Sutton, especially Tim Patrick, who had that great rapport with Teddy Bridgewater. They'll get a nice bump up should he play, and it looks like he's on track. Justin Fields has been announced as the starter moving forward, which you'd want to be excited about for fantasy, but he has not put up more than 10 fantasy points yet. He's been the quarterback 32 and 31 so far. You clearly can't start him. I don't even think you need to roster him at this point. And it's also bad news for guys like Allen Robinson, who has still not had a top 40 fantasy week. Good news for Darnell Mooney, though, who he loves, he's raved about, and I would probably consider getting Mooney into my lineups. Robinson remains firmly planted on your bench with this one.
Robinson is, can you believe it? I mean, he's bench worthy completely.
Bust of the year.
We should. All right, we're going to do a first quarter show, and we'll talk about bust of
Monday.
the year. We won't do that today, but Monday you'll see us again, and I'll have some thoughts on that.
Quarter one awards. Yep.
Let's get into running backs. This is like a glimmer of bright light of hope for me. Christian McCaffrey back in practice. He was dealing with a hamstring issue. I guess he probably still is. He says he definitely, that's in quotes, has a chance to return for Sunday's game against the Eagles. Obviously, that is not a commitment of any kind, but I'm still happy to see him out there at least getting some work. Makes me think, if nothing else, he'll be back next week.
Yeah, at minimum, you're getting him back next week. And if he's playing, you're locking him in. It's Christian McCaffrey. I don't care if there's a report of a limited touch total.
Playing the Eagles.
Exactly. They're giving up like the 7th most points to running backs right now. Not a good run D. And this happened last year. I remember it very vividly. McCaffrey's playing, but he's going to be on a touch total. He ended up being the number 1 scoring running back. He put up 35 fantasy points. He's under-owned on DFS. He was like 6% rostered. The million maker winner had Christian McCaffrey. So I'm hammering him DFS at 8,700, underpriced, under-owned. Love that. And also, of course, in your seasonal leagues, you're getting him locked into your lineups. Zeke Elliott returning to practice on Thursday. He's not concerned about his status. He's coming off a nearly 150-yard day, looking as explosive as ever. 71 touches to 45 over the last 4 games. He is right into my top 3 running backs. Going to smash the Giants. No doubt about it. Get Zeke into your lineups.
Joe Mixon, one of the true bell cow backs in the league, due to an ankle issue, is still sidelined at Bengals practice as of Thursday. Not great news.
No, and they're going to take a committee approach if he's out. That being said, Samaje Perine is out-touched Evans 12-3 so far this year. We're going to talk about him in a little bit. But when he's seen work, he's actually done well, as gross as that might feel. I'd get Alex Collins in tonight if you have those 2 options. Get in Collins right now. But Samaje Perine also shaping up to be a good streamer. Giovanni Bernard was limited in practice. Not really concerned because you're not going to play him. More so a concern because Leonard Fournette became an 82% snap player without Bernard in. Was the every down back, especially as the receiver, ran a ton of routes. He would be a smash play should Bernard sit. But if Bernard plays, it gets a lot dicier. They all become about 45 to 50% at most snap players. Not a fan if he plays.
All right, this one's so big, for some reason we have it written twice on the agenda. Eli Mitchell, shoulder issue, remains limited at Wednesday's practice. Of course he is. He's on my fantasy team. And if you're on my fantasy team, you're banged up or worse. He's been limited for the past week and a half. He didn't play last week. He was, remember, the bell cow back once. Did okay after that good first week thing. We're still wait and see with him. But anyway, he's limited. You're not putting too much stock in him right now.
No, I'm not. But ultimately, if he does play, it ruins Trey Sermon, who's been the every down back. So it could ruin that. I'd have a real hard time playing Mitchell. If you're desperate, though, I imagine he takes back over as the 1A versus the 1B for Sermon. But it's tough to project always with Shanahan. And now you got Trey Lance probably vulturing goal line touchdowns. Last 2 running back notes, we got Darrington Evans scheduled to return from IR. The only reason I mention him is Derrick Henry's seen a ton of targets. Those will probably dissipate a bit. He's seen more targets than Alvin Kamara. Insanity, more catches, more targets, more yards per route run. It's an insane year. I wish it would continue all year. Darrington Evans might be a reason it doesn't. We just saw Jerry McNichols see freaking 12 targets. So Darrington Evans could have a true meaningful role given how hyped up he was. Their Alvin Kamara light in training camp. So a guy to stash ahead of time if you have an IR spot or some bench dumpster space. And also last, Peyton Barber's going to miss multiple weeks. I know Richard Hartford.
It ain't so.
Diehard Peyton Barber fan over there. But Josh Jacobs get a nice stock up with clearly Kenyon Drake, a third fiddle at best right now. Josh Jacobs should continue to see his stock climb in these next couple of weeks as the only de facto running guy on that roster.
All right, let's get into the wide receivers. Like we said, this is a long list, but we're hitting these pretty fast. We're
going quick, baby.
Right, and just keeping with the theme of anybody on the Truth Fantasy team just screwing him over royally, Calvin Ridley not going to London for Week 5. Injury? No, just a personal issue.
I know.
Thanks,
what's
Calvin.
crazy is I hate, I feel like an asshole because I'm like,
I know.
This is good for fantasy teams, right? Because it's not injury, it's not going to linger. And I'm like, well, the poor guy, like he's clearly got something bad going on in his life. Like that should be our immediate concern. We're just assholes as fantasy rosters, but it is what it is. So in his absence, Russell Gage also not traveling. Cordero Patterson, just another reason to smash him. We're going to talk about him later. So I'm going to keep moving. This is actually not a wide receiver, but Jair Alexander expected to miss Week 5 of the Bengals. I haven't heard anybody talking about this. So I did want to mention that given how shut down he is, that's such good news for T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, whoever was going to get his coverage. Now they roll 2 or 3 of the worst corners out in the league. I imagine this game becomes a good shootout, and I love those guys. T. Higgins, one of my favorite plays, as we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully T. Higgins, also on my team and injured, will be coming back. He's limited during Thursday's practice, like you said, but hopefully we'll see some sparks there. Julio Jones and A.J. Brown, let's just hit both of them together. They're both on the same team. They're on the same wide receiving core. They both got bum hamstrings. A.J. Brown did practice. Julio did not practice on Thursday.
Yeah, and it originally seemed like A.J. Brown was the bigger concern week to week, but after only 1 week, should be back. If he plays, he gets the Jags and no Julio, I'd be smashing him. Cooper actually did practice today. He returned to a limited session after missing yesterday. He's probably in your lineup. We saw how they did against Carolina, supposedly good pass defense. They'll roast the Giants, and he had a nice long touchdown there. Big fan of Amari Cooper. Claypool, I think they're underrated on DFS. Get him back into your lineups. I'm not Cooper and Lamb. Sorry, I don't know why I mentioned Claypool.
Right. Well, we're talking Claypool's next on the list. Let's talk Pittsburgh wide receivers because we just did the Titans together. Chase Claypool's got a hamstring issue. He was limited in Wednesday's practice. Juju Smith-Schuster, rib issue, was also limited in Wednesday's practice, as if things couldn't get worse for the Steelers. What a garbage fire that is over there.
Complete garbage fire, but ultimately I'm not playing either of them. I just wanted to put them on the list to let you know they're going to be back, and it's not going to matter because Deontay Johnson, who I'm going to rave about in a second, is going to be the main guy. He always has been these last couple of years. It will continue. Will Fuller on the injured reserve. What a shocker. I couldn't believe the hype he was getting. Why were people hyping this guy up in the preseason?
I was not one of the people hyping
We were not.
Up, but just for him coming back off suspension, and then just coming back, missing, I think he missed one for personal reasons, maybe. And then
a hamstring, then a chest and ribs, and
now he's just got a broken finger.
Ridiculous. It's just absurd. All that leads to is Jalen Waddle getting the matchup of all matchups, the most points allowed to wide receivers. He saw 13 targets the last time Fuller missed game. I'm all in on it. I love Jalen Waddle this week, even though it's only Jacoby Brissett, low ADOT. I don't care. He's going to get peppered. If you have any type of reception leagues, get Jalen Waddle into your lineups.
All right, let's move along because we're long into this. Jerry Jeudy, Vic Fangio says he hopes that Jeudy will be back after missing 6 weeks, which is better than we thought when we saw the guy get hurt.
Absolutely. Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, not expected to play. Galladay limited. Meanwhile, Dan Duggan of The Athletic saying Tony and Ross need to remain focal points because of the speed and the elements they bring. I'm going to talk about those guys in higher, lower Hail Mary. So a
lot of Giants offense talk here.
But I'm into it. The highest over-under total on the main slate of DFS this week. Big fan of that. Elijah Moore back. Doesn't really matter, but it could muddy up targets after Jamison Crowder returned. Just a couple quick tight end notes. Hit us with Gronk,
rib problem. Sidelined for the second straight practice on Thursday. As you remember, he did not play in that big game against the Pats, and I'm sure if he could have, he would have.
Exactly, and I don't expect him to play here. Cameron Brate, my tight end 18, could be a streamer. Hawkinson back at practice, my tight end 3, great player. Kittle's still not practicing this week. If he's out, that would just open up that many more targets for Debo, for Ayuk. If he plays, I still think you have to have him in your lineup, even though we only saw 2 targets from Trey Lance once he took over in the second half. And last but not least,
Logan Thomas, IR, hamstring.
Yeah, and the only reason I wanted to bring him up is Ricky Seals-Jones, RSJ, our initials.
RSJ,
awesome. 6'5" monster, though. This offense does. Ron Rivera, dating back to all the way in Carolina with Greg Olsen. He loves peppering his tight ends. Let's hit some higher, lower Hail Mary, and we're going to, again, rip through these. I want to be done. Even at the 40-minute mark, we're not done. I don't care where we're at. We're cutting it because we got 63 questions.
We'll be done. We got a lot of questions. We're getting a lot more, guys. Give us a like before we get into the higher, lower Hail Mary. We'd sure appreciate it. We know we got a lot of people watching right now.
We appreciate all you guys being here.
And like the Wolf said, if you're trying to comment, get questions answered on Twitter, you got to come to Facebook or to YouTube to get those answered. We're not trying to promote those things specifically, but your questions aren't showing up live on our StreamYard feed. The other ones are. So, more the merrier. Come on over. Looks like we got a lot of people watching.
We got 65 already, and we promise we'll hit every single one as fast as we can. I'll go rapid fire mode if we need to. We're going to go rapid fire mode right here with higher, lower Hail Mary.
All right, quarterbacks. Trey Lance, we talked about him before. A lot of people have been waiting all year on this. Here he is. He's going to start. He's at Arizona. You got him as your QB9. The experts have him at 16, 7 spots above. I think I know what you're going to say, but say it anyway.
Well, 41 rushing yards in just a half last week. Konami upside.
That's what I was waiting for.
100%. I'm just not going to make you wait. I'm not even going to tease you. But the fact that this guy had 20 fantasy points and a half last week, yes, a good chunk of that came on a broken play to Deebo Samuel. But that's the Kyle Shanahan effect. He's got a great offense. He knows how to scheme these things around. Great weapons. Konami upside, cannon arm. Sure, he looks skittish at times. That's going to happen again. He's going to make some dumb plays. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you, 25, 30 fantasy points and only 5,700 on DraftKings. This is not a Justin Fields situation because he's not anchored by Matt Nagy. Love Trey Lance. I have him above Tom Brady, Kirk Cousins, like a ton of guys, even maybe Justin Herbert this week. You probably don't have to go to those extremes in your seasonal leagues, but if you want to roll the dice, I'm telling you, he's going to kill it.
Speaking of Tom Brady, he's your lower guy. You got him against Miami as your QB 10. Experts have him at 6, so you're 4 below. They actually have him listed ahead of Stafford, Jalen Hurts, Wilson, among others. The Stafford one just seems crazy to me.
They all seem crazy to me. Hurts hasn't been below a top 10 QB all year. I think, again, Brady killed it the first few weeks. I get that. But now that he's lost Gronk, it was clear he was pretty lost to him. Maybe that's Belichick just being the master that he is, being inside his head. I don't know. It could be. But ultimately, he also gets Flores this week, another guy that understands him and knows him well. He's always kind of struggled with Miami for whatever reason. Granted, he's probably going to throw 5 freaking touchdowns now that I put him on here. But I just don't think this is the best of matchups. Miami's much more susceptible to the run than they are the pass. I think it's going to be a Fournette day, if anything. So, yeah, I'm down on Brady this week.
Hail Marys. Daniel Jones going at Dallas, 36% rostered. Taylor Heineke at the Saints, 13% rostered. Mac Jones, 18% rostered. Did you know that Daniel Jones is like the QB6?
Oh, yeah. He 100%. 400 yards last week. It's insane. I can't believe it, but he's looking significantly better. Plus, he adds some Konami upside. Just wild, wild stuff here. And I put him at the top. He'd be my number 1 by far of the Hail Mary options. Then I put Taylor Heineke, who's had over 20 fantasy points in every single start. Capped off with 28 last week when he was our Hail Mary last week. That felt like cheating to do him twice in a row. So I just want to throw him in there again because he'd be my next option. And then if both of those guys are gone, I don't hate Mac Jones. Now, there's not a ton of upside. I think it's going to be a pound game. So we get to the running backs in a second. I'll tell you why. But if you're desperate, he's only 18% rostered. I could see him chucking 2 touchdowns against this porous defense, giving up the 5th most points. 2 quarterbacks.
Your must-watch, people could probably guess, it's Trey Lance. But you also threw in Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense, because they're playing without Joe Mixon, which leads to the question, are they just going to throw the ball 60 times?
Yeah, that's what I want to see. They averaged over 40 pass attempts in his rookie season. Since then, they've averaged the most rush attempts per game. They've been a slow-paced offense. It's been gross. It's been sluggish. I don't think you can do that against Aaron Rodgers and these Packers, and certainly when you don't have Joe Mixon in the backfield. So I cannot wait to see what they look like in the Joe Mixon-less world here.
All right, let's get into running backs. We got a good pace. We did that. Quarterbacks nice and quick.
Love it.
The guy that you're higher on, and you know me, I like to feel smart. I felt pretty smart after I went on the show last time we went on and said that Cordero Patterson was criminally underrated on your list. And to your credit, you actually agreed with me. You had him like 28, and I think by the time we got off the air, you bumped him like 5 or 6 spots. He went nuts last week. He's the RB3. He's a PPR RB3. You've got him as your RB14 this week, 7 spots above the experts. Again, you also like Damian Harris as your RB16 at Houston, 4 spots above the experts.
And what's crazy now is what you brought up Patterson last week. I brought him up as the higher last week at RB28. I was like plus 13.
And I said it was way too low.
You're like, you're still not high enough. I bumped him up to like RB15 or so at that point, and I still wasn't high enough, and I'm probably not high enough again.
It seems like his floor is like 15.
At minimum, especially now with Ridley out. Who else are they going to be throwing to? Who else are they going to have big plays from against the Jets defense, giving up the most points to running backs?
Yeah.
I really like Cordero Patterson.
Yeah.
He is a must start. Like we talked about Alex Collins. If you had Patterson versus Collins, go Patterson. I love
Patterson
Collins tonight.
long,
I'm very into Patterson. Collins tonight, but that doesn't matter.
You can't not start Patterson until this stops.
And I don't know what it will. I really think Arthur Smith has a knack for using, Kyle Pitts sucks, so I guess maybe not using his players to their most capabilities. But even still, Patterson has become that guy, the highest scorer on Atlanta. Who would have thought? Outscoring Ridley, outscoring Pitts. That's Patterson. He's locked into my lineups. And then Damian Harris, running back 16 plus 4 ECR, as you said. Love him also at 5,500 on DraftKings. He is the clear-cut guy this week. I know he's had 2 duds in a row, under 5 points in back-to-back weeks, but I'm telling you, this is the week it flips. We saw it in Miami. He had over 20 carries that week. When the script is right, They're going to pound it. They had 2 very good run defenses. That's why he went down. This is the script against the number 5 in terms of points allowed, depending on your scoring. They always get pummeled, Houston. They're going to get up big. They're going to pound it. And he also ran, just as an added bonus, not only will he run for 102 touchdowns this week, he also ran 17 routes, the most of his career last week, more than Brandon Bolden, who did have 6 catches. Big fan of Damian Harris. I think he's going to kill it on DraftKings at 5,500. I think he needs to be in your lineups as well.
Kamara, this is the guy you're lower on with good reason. You got him as your RB8 at Washington. That's 6 below the experts. The experts have him at 2. That just seems insane to me. You also are down on Fournette, RB22, going against Miami, 6 spots below the experts.
Exactly. And Kamara, again, he's in your lineup if you have him. Like, there's no doubt about it. This is more of a DFS call here. And the fact, like, why is he ranked above Eckler, above all these guys that are just beast? Aaron Jones, when he's, seeing the most carries of his career, second most in the NFL right now. That's fucking insane for Kamara. He's never seen that much work, but it's coming at the expense of his receiving workload. As we've said time and time again, a target is worth 2.84 times as much value as a carry in PPR leagues. And that is killing Kamara because he's seeing minimal targets. He's got 14 on the year. That is criminal misuse. He's not getting targeted by Winston.
So bad.
It's fucking horrible. I don't get it. I don't know why. And if you attack Washington the right way, maybe they finally get this guy going again. But I am lower on him compared to his ECR spot. And then, as we mentioned with Fournette, the fact that Gio Bernard's back, he's going to take right back into that third down role. And yet, maybe Fournette, they're pounding this team late. He could break a couple big ones. Miami is not a good run D, so it's a little bit risky running back lowers here. There just wasn't too many I didn't like this week. So those were the guys I went with.
All right, he's a great one not to like at 2. Anyway. Hail Mary, Samaje Perine, 34% owned, RB24, 12 spots above the experts. Seems like he's going to get a chance to prove his worth right now.
Yeah, last time he saw, he's only seen above 10 carries once in his life. 13 carries, he went for 94 yards, 2 scores, also hauled in 4 catches for 40 yards. The guy has that type of upside in him, and you think he's a classic plotter, and he is pretty much, but he did have that type of day. It was against Houston. It was a horrible run D. I get all that. But Green Bay is 27th against the run right now, DVOA, one of the worst teams last year that's carried over to this year. Perine does have that matchup, probably the projected usage. I think he finds the end zone and is a great guy at only 30% owned. If you'd missed on Collins, and again, Collins above him for sure tonight, get Collins in. If you have Collins over Perine right now, I'm doing that. I have them both on my team, and I'm going Collins. But still, Perine, if you missed out, a solid option as well.
Stash and C, Ramondre Stevenson, 12% owned, who I actually picked up off waivers when I dropped James White. And I've since had to drop Stevenson again to make room for Alex Collins.
And that's a good move, and I would do that as well if I'm you. But if you have not picked up Collins and there's a bench space, I really think Stevenson, in my gut, is going to be a league winner down the stretch, whether that's because of a Harris injury, whether he takes over that third down role. We saw J.J. Taylor fumble it away. You know we're not going to see him probably for the rest of eternity during this. And they've talked about Stevenson really ramping up how well he's practiced, and they know he's going to call his number at some point. He might become the big James White version. That was a 18% target share before White went down. It was third most in the league at the time. That could become Stevenson. Maybe he takes over for Harris at some point if Harris gets hurt. Either way, I want to own this. I want him on my teams. I want him on my teams, especially against Houston. Maybe they give him some mop-up duty and he gets rolling here. I like it.
Let's talk about must-watches. Damian Williams is the Week 5 waiver pickup of the week, going to deliver quality RB2-ish numbers. Also, Eli Mitchell, another injured player on my fantasy squad. Is he going to return? Is he going to regain control if he returns? And then you got the Kenneth Gainwell and Miles Sanders saga in Philly.
Exactly. Can't wait to see what Damian Williams done. Every time he's got work, he's been a top 24 running back. In fact, most often was top 12. That wasn't the Chiefs offense for a lot of that. So that, of course, is a big difference going from the Chiefs to the Bears right now. But the guy should see about 15 to 20 touches. Look forward to seeing it. Eli Mitchell was so explosive that week 1. Does he get the control back? Big story because of how good that backfield is. I still think it's Jeff Wilson down the stretch, though. Ladies and gentlemen, stash him right now. Kenneth Gainwell, too. Outplayed Sanders. Is that going to happen? I know Sanders voices displeasure this week. Is the squeaky wheel going to get greased, or is Gainwell going to continue to take over this backfield and be the more valuable back moving forward? Let's find out.
All right, we got about 12 minutes before we're going to questions no matter what. We got a lot of questions. I know people are asking. Give us a like if you can. I know I'm repeating myself a lot. Let's get into wide receivers. Two guys you're higher on, Deontay Johnson going against Denver, wide receiver 19, 5 above the experts. I'm not sure I love that one, but I do love the next one. T. Higgins, wide receiver 27, 13 spots above the experts. Can't believe if he plays that he's legitimately going to be the wide receiver 40.
No way. He's been a beast. He scored in both of the games he's played this year. No Jair Alexander, as we said. So I think T. Higgins in a shootout style narrative, no Joe Mixon. They're gonna turn back to last year where Burrow just chucked it 40 times. I think Burrow has a solid day as a result. And I certainly think his receivers, including Chase, but also T. Higgins, significantly lower. I'm going to put him back in lineups in most in chances. And Deontay Johnson, the second in expected fantasy points this year. Yes, he's going a little below that in terms of his performance. That's because Ben Roethlisberger sucks. Doesn't matter, though. He sees so many targets. He's seen double-digit targets every game so far this year that he's made it through. That dates back to last year. All but 2 games last year when he made it through the whole game did he see 20 double-digit targets. And the only 2 he didn't was because he got benched for drops. I don't think that's happening this year. He's been very sure-handed. The volume is just going to be there over and over again. I think he is a top 15 receiver, and he's ranked near the 20 right now. Love Deontay Johnson.
Guys you're lower on, and these guys fall into a similar category, which is guys whose rating is inflated because of their name at this point. Allen Robinson, who I love, but is just in a pretty bad spot under Matt Nagy's thumb. Wide receiver 40, 9 spots below the experts. I completely get that. OBJ, who I've been off of for several years now, but people keep wanting to pump him up. He's going against the Chargers. You got him as your wide receiver 42, 12 below the experts. Man, I cannot imagine him meriting a 30 wide receiver spot from the experts at this point. He's got to show me something.
Exactly. And he did look good, Odell Beckham. We'll start with him in his first week back. 9 targets, 5 catches, 77 yards, looking very solid. And then he followed that up with a nice 7 targets. Okay, not bad. And a run-heavy attack. Only 2 of them being caught for 27 yards. And that's the concern here is Baker Mayfield with that torn labrum. It comes out now after the fact that he has a torn labrum. No wonder he couldn't push it down the field. No wonder he couldn't hit this guy with accuracy. Odell Beckham should have had an 80-yard blazing touchdown last week. I was higher on him last week. I am now reverting to lower because he couldn't get it done against a Minnesota team giving up the 3rd most points to wide receivers at the time. And now we expect him to go against the Chargers, who have just stifled wide receivers all year, certainly with their number 1. I don't buy it at all. Not with a hampered Baker Mayfield right now. Awful stuff. And then Allen Robinson, wide receiver 40 is a generous ranking, apparently, given that he has not been wide receiver 68, wide receiver 45, 79, and 51 so far this year. Makes you want to puke.
That makes me really sad.
It's sad. And the guy has gotten it done with nothing throughout his career. That was the whole argument. Like, the floor is going to still be there no matter what happens. It'll only get raised by Justin Fields. I don't know what it is, but how can we not react to it at this point? I want nothing to do with Allen Robinson in my starting lineup. He's on the bench probably the rest of the year. Honestly, I almost cut him in a league because it was like he seems to be my least valuable player that I don't know I'll ever play at this point.
It's not crazy. I mean, look, if I had him on my team right now, and my team's in shambles to some degree, if I had him on my team, he would be my worst wide receiver out of the 6 guys I got. If I were cutting someone to pick someone up, he'd be the guy.
Right? Exactly.
Which is nuts. Hail Marys, Kadarius Toney, 10% owned, John Ross, 1% owned. You're also going to talk a little bit about DFS with those guys.
Yeah, only $4K for Toney. Love that. John Ross also only $3,400. Love them both. But this is the highest over-under on the main slate, 52.5. I love that. And even in seasonal leagues, though, I also really like these guys, especially Toney. I mean, if you watch his highlights, I don't know if you've seen him, Nat, but the way this guy changes direction, like it's a huge joystick. He is as shifty as can be, and then he accelerates as fast as can be. Like, you know, we always have those next Tyreek Hill comparisons. I'm not going to say he's that because he doesn't have the quarterback talent to exploit it like what Tyreek Hill has, but you just see what he is at a different level than the defenders around him. And that is awesome to see. 9 targets last week. I think that only continues to climb. 6 catches, 78 yards. Wouldn't be shocked to see him find the end zone. They haven't even exploited his deep skills. That's because John Ross also has those skills. I didn't even know he's on the Giants until he caught a 52-yard touchdowns. 372 and a TD. And as we said at the top, the Athletic reported they want to keep this as an element. That was the most times Daniel Jones has ever thrown 20-plus yards in a single game, over 8 times last week. That was as much as he's done the whole season, having these 2 weapons be the focal point. And clearly it worked out. They beat the fucking Saints, and he threw for over 400 yards. You don't think they're going to keep going to that well? I love these guys in DFS. I'll toss them in Hail Marys and seasonals when I need them. I think the Giants are sneaky rolling as a pass attack. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth.
I can't either. but I respect your opinions, and so we'll see what happens. Stash and C, IR returnees, Rashad Bateman. I actually have him stashed on my IR right now. He's only 14% owned.
Monday night gives you a little fun stuff to watch there. Can't wait to see what Bateman does. He's jumped up to about 26% roster at this point. I'd get in before he gets hot. Big fan. And the last note here is must watch. How are the 49ers receivers going to fare with Trey Lance? It's just Trey Lance week, other than Alex Collins tonight, of course.
I know, Trey Lance and Alex Collins.
Collins
if we had a
Trey
poster
Lance
for the show,
baby.
that's who it would be. It would be
If
us.
he busts
and
tonight,
them.
we're going to be such fucking assholes. And I'm not sitting here saying these guys about to go for like 120-2, but I think you're going to get a nice performance.
Yeah, I do too. I'm starting him.
And that's Alex Collins. I do think Trey Lance blows up, and I'm excited to see, does Ayuk get going with that deep ball? Does Deebo Samuel have some more yak? Is this, without the high percentage of Jimmy Garoppolo, is he still going to get peppered? We'll find out for sure. Tight ends real fast. 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes. Tight ends. Guy you're higher on, Dawson Knox, playing at the Chiefs, who I don't think really know how to play defense. You got him as your tight end 4 spots above the experts. Makes sense to me. They've given up 7th most fantasy points to tight ends this year, and Dawson Knox seems like a good fit to continue that trend.
Do you know how many tight ends have more touchdowns than Dawson Knox this year?
Like 1.
Nope, 0. He's leading the league in touchdowns right now among tight ends. He's been a tight end 1 3 out of 4 weeks, and even the week he didn't score as a tight end 1, he was right there at tight end 13. He's been running 79% of routes on the dropbacks compared to like 50% last year. He's like the clear-cut number 3 in this passing attack right now, behind Diggs, Sanders, and Beasley. In a shootout game like this, we'll get run about him. But as a red zone monster, he's the number 1 target. Again, 2 touchdowns last week. I think he easily finds the end zone yet again, and I love him. I absolutely love Knox this week.
Odd trivia fact, since we're doing that, you know who's leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns?
Oh, Mr. Darnold. Of course I do.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
You can't get one by me.
Just wanted to see. Oh, come on. I can get one by you, but not that one. You were waiting for it. You were waiting on the pitch. I hung it over the plate.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I should have predicted the question. I knew exactly where you were going.
We're like a married couple. We've been together too long. All right, guys, we're lower on Kyle Pitts. Gosh, can this guy plummet any further? Playing Washington, you got him as your tight end 12. Might even seem overly generous at this point. 6 spots below the experts. Man, I love this guy at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I want to love him. And if he's ever going to do it right, it's got to be this week. No Calvin Ridley, no Russell Gage. He should be the vein of the passing attack. Can't guarantee that by any means, though. So we'll find out if he is. Again, the tight end 24, tight end 9, 22, 19 so far this year. Similar to Allen Robinson, one of the chronic underperformers so far this year. I'm very worried for sure. So I'm not into starting him yet. Even though everything says you should this week, I'm not doing it myself if I don't have to. Give me Dawson Knox.
Max Williams is your Hail Mary.
Yeah, I like if I like Trey Lance as much as I do, I think that narrative over under there is going to go crazy. I think Max Williams, again, top 10 tight end in 2 of the last 3 weeks. It's gross, but when you're throwing darts at the fucking wall, why not throw in a touchdown score in the league's most explosive attack? So go for Max Williams, only 18% rostered right now. If you're desperate at tight end, chuck one in for him.
Hey, guess what, everybody? We just finished the higher lower Hail Mary. We finished it like 2 minutes ahead of our, allotted time that we said we're going to do. So we're about to hit what is going to be a probably very Alex Collins heavy mailbag. So if you're still hanging around, thanks for hanging around. Smash the like button if you've given us a question, because we're going to answer it. The one way.
I didn't mean to. You're in the middle of your speech. I just hit it. I had to hit it.
The one reason we might not is if your question comes up after someone who already asked the same question, we answered it. We might just say, okay.
I know. I feel bad because I saw some questions earlier that I think they are now hide current. I don't know. Eric Underwood was not the first comment today, so we're just going to go in the order we get them. I apologize if we missed you earlier.
I'm going to the top. There's a few above that one.
Is there? Yeah.
Psycho Scout. We're going to start right now with Psycho Scout.
Can you pull them out? Yeah, I can't see those ones. So
okay.
You pull them
Psycho
out.
Scout, Deontay Johnson, Mike Evans.
I'm going to go Mike Evans there. I like Mike Evans against Miami.
All right, Darius Wright. I'm late here. Not that late. You were one of our first questions. Should I start Alex Collins tonight over Zach Moss and Kareem Hunt? So that's our first Alex Collins official question. It's a good question. Hunt's been all right.
Yeah, over Zach Moss, 100%. Hunt is a much closer one. I'm going to go Collins myself, though. I really think Alex Collins is going to be the featured back and do some good damage tonight.
David Campanile. Full PPR flex. I already have Aaron Jones, Cordero Patterson at running back. That's not bad. pick between Alex Collins or James Robinson. Dave, I like Alex Collins more than James Robinson.
I don't. That's a close one. James Robinson coming off 2 back-to-back top 10 weeks, though. Seems like he's finally found that groove, and they can't go back to him. So I'm going to go James Robinson over Collins here. But I love it. And just a reminder, too, if you're on Twitter watching this, thank you. We appreciate the views. But also, we can't see your questions on Twitter. So please find us on YouTube, find us on Facebook, whatever's better for you, and we'll make sure to get to you.
All right. Eric Underwood. Now we're back to Eric Underwood.
All right.
A-Rob has been pissing me off. I'm giving him one more week. Yeah, that might even be generous to be giving him one
right?
more week. Honestly. Andres, hey guys, back again. Sutton, if Teddy plays, Brandon Cooks, Pittman, half-point PPR. Flex any of them over Damian Harris.
I go Damian Harris over all those guys in the flex. Like I said, I'm very high on Damian Harris this week, especially half PPR. If Teddy plays, I think I like Sutton the most here. But that's tough because I really like Pittman seeing 12 targets in back-to-back games.
Butterfly Girls, Collins tonight or risk Dalvin Cook's availability? Good question.
Oh, that's a really good one. Dalvin Cook would get Detroit, giving up the second most points to running back. If he's out, I wonder what your next option is. Do you have Madison? Because if you have Madison, it's a no-brainer. You wait for this situation to play out. If not, I'd like to know, Butterfly Girls, who your next option is. I definitely do at this point. I remember the first couple of questions came in. They got moved down because we can only store 120 at a time. So if we missed you, it was not deliberate.
Do we have more than 120?
Yeah, we have way more than 120 at this point, which is amazing, and we're going to get through them all.
Bring them on.
But if we missed you, it was not deliberate. It's just how it goes here. So please, we want to get to all your questions. Let us know if we missed you.
We're going to be done by start time. We're going to answer everyone's question.
Yes.
All right. Nick Hobie. And I'm having a hard time getting it to come up.
I keep clicking it too.
Okay, well, you click it. Go ahead. All right, Nick Hobie. Start 1. Latavius Murray, Javonte Williams, Alex Collins, or Elijah Mitchell. Full PPR.
Oh, that's Alex Collins.
I'm going Alex Collins all the way.
Yeah, that's an Alex Collins one. That's like he's a tier above those guys for me.
Agree. Dennis Stephen L. Half-point PPR flex. Collins tonight or Hubbard with a slight chance to turn into CMC. If both play, I have Latavius Murray as a backup. I don't 100% understand, but if what he's saying is he has Hubbard, but CMC could come and ruin that pumpkin, and then he has Latavius Murray should that happen. I'd just go with Collins tonight. I don't think Hubbard is worth holding out for. He was okay. He only saw 5% of the targets, though. Give me Collins there. That's what I'm looking for. I agree with that. Thank you for interpreting that for me, Wolf. Joaquin Ailman says, I'm late. Do I pick up and start Alex Collins as a flex? It really depends on your options, Joaquin. I mean, that's what it comes down to. He's definitely a viable play as a flex, depending on what you're looking at.
And this is what I'm going to also say, too. If you do play him, don't do it as a flex because on Thursday night, you don't want to give your flex spot. You play him as a running back. Even if you have 2 guys that you think should be locked in ahead of him, you don't want to use up your flex right now. Just in case some crazy stuff happened. It's always just best practice. Thursday night guys should never be in a flex spot.
Good rule of thumb. Thank you for pointing that out. Michael Young, Collins or Robinson for flex PPR? Are you talking about James or Allen? If you're talking about Allen, it's definitely Collins. If you're talking about James, the Wolf and I actually disagreed on that. I said Collins. He said Robinson. So
James.
I'll defer to the Wolf.
Yeah, I'm James here, but I get the love for Collins again. 15 points last week in a timeshare. What's he going to do without a timeshare? It's a good defense, though. I want to keep emphasizing this is a good defense. So, I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it for sure. I'm happy I'm playing him tonight, but I am also cautiously optimistic for sure. This is a tough front 7, but I think he does find the end zone.
B. Schaub, should I start Alex Collins or AB at flex? I like this question.
That's a really good one right there. Again, either way, you don't play Collins or AB. You don't play Collins in the flex tonight. It's Thursday night. I really think AB's catching a long score this week, but I think Collins is safer. That's nuts to say, but that's such a up and down rotation here. I wish I knew if this was PPR or half or standard. Standard, it's Collins. Half, it's I don't know, honestly. PPR, it's probably AB. 11 targets without Gronk last week. I think that's going to happen yet again. So I probably go Collins. But I don't know. This is a really close one.
That's a tough one for me. I actually have them both and need to start them both because my roster's so thin right now because of injuries. But it's like a decision I'm glad that I don't have to make. It's that close.
That's a really tight one because I have a good gut feeling about AB, but I also do about Collins. I'd probably go AB there, Schaub, if I had the choice, though.
United We Rise 24. Collins or Myers in the flex standard scoring? Standard, I'm going Collins.
Thanks for pointing out the scoring there for us, United, and I would definitely go Collins in standard. I love Myers. The guy hasn't scored a touchdown since 2018 when he was in college. So in standard, that's definitely leaning to Collins for me. And again, guys, I love all these new names I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. If you don't mind giving us a thumbs up, but also if you like what you're seeing, please consider giving us a subscription, sub into the YouTube channel, hitting the bell so you know when we're live, because we love just answering all your questions throughout the week. So if you like what you're hearing, you enjoyed the preview show, and you want to get your questions answered with regularity, subscribe, hit the bell. I think we do it as good as anybody in the industry, and it's awesome to see so many new faces here. We'd love to have you join the pack full time and be showing up every time we go live. So awesome stuff, guys. Appreciate it significantly. Please consider subscribing and hitting that bell and joining us.
Ray Noah, Collins, CMC, and Connor, pick 2, please. I mean, if CMC's healthy, you start him 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000. I know that's a big if. So let's talk about Collins and Connor. Who you like more?
Connor's had 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks. As soon as you put him in, he's going to get 0. I cut him after 3 weeks because he had literally 20 yards, 30 yards. And I don't even regret it. He put up 4 touchdowns since I cut him. And I'm not even sitting here like, oh, I'm so sad about it. Like, I don't trust Connor with any inch of my being. I go Collins tonight over him. And then if CMC doesn't play, you always have Connor as your backup plan. But I go Collins tonight.
Collins or Swift, PPR?
Ooh, that's a pretty good one. Full PPR, though, I got to go Swift. The target share is insane, the most among running backs right now. 20% of red zone targets there, too. I like Swift. I got to go him over Collins, but it is pretty damn close.
PPR, Damian Harris or Alex Collins?
Ooh, okay. Now we're getting juicy. I like Harris, though. I talked about Harris tonight. I do think Collins is going to have a big night tonight, but I also think Harris is going to have a huge game against Houston. I'm going to go with the matchup, the talent, and go with Harris here.
I agree with you on the Harris pick. And, I also like Collins to do okay tonight. Doesn't it just seem like Seattle's offense isn't as good as it should be?
No.
I mean,
but they'll generate some scoring opportunities for
him. They will.
Definitely.
It seems like they pump the brakes at weird times. Anyway.
Yeah, Butterfly Girl giving us a good reminder. Again, no Thursday night players in your flex spot. Absolutely.
Good call. Jeremiah Moore, 2-quarterback dynasty league. My quarterbacks are Danny Dimes, Justin Fields, and Baker. I got offered Joe Burrow and Jonnu, gross, for Fields and Knox. My other tight end's Mark Andrews. Would you trade Fields for Burrow?
I'd rather have Burrow than Fields, but I also rather keep Knox than Jonnu. So that's kind of a wash for me.
I also like both the ones the Wolf likes more.
Yeah.
David Yadagarian, start Madison.
Only if Cook's out.
Right. Obviously only if Cook's out. Right. But
if he's out, then
Cook's out, he's a pretty viable start. Yeah.
If Cook is out, he's a top 10 play, in my opinion.
Julio Rodriguez, Lockett, Collins, McLaurin. I have to pick 2.
Mention Collins here.
I'd probably go Lockett and McLaurin.
Yeah, me too. I can't bench McLaurin after 2 touchdowns last week. He's got that connection with Heineke down. Lockett's the big risk, but that ceiling is so tough to sit because as soon as you sit him, he's going for 50. When you play him, he's probably getting 5. It sucks. It's a mind fuck. But I can't bench Lockett. I imagine Ramsey's going to be on DK tonight. I'm gonna bench Collins here, but that's a tough one. That's a good one.
Cortland Allen. I got to know, do I start Alex Collins or Dalton Schultz in the flex? That's interesting.
And you know what? This should be a no-brainer, but Schultz has been the tight end 1 and tight end 4
Schultz
the past
the
2
best tight end in the NFL.
He really is. 36% target share last week. Ever since Gallup went down, he's been a monster. I'm going to go with the running back, but again, not in the flex. Reminder, you cannot put a Thursday night guy in your flex. Like it's bad practice, even if it means benching one of your studs into the flex. I guess there's some superstition with that. So if you truly are superstitious about it, okay, fine. But I'm going to put Collins in over Dalton Schultz myself.
Riley Groneveld. I can flex 2. Robert Woods. Ugh. AJ Brown. Ugh. Marvin Jones. I'm definitely picking Jones. Out of
and I actually really do like AJ Brown this week.
I like him if he's healthy, but I mean, he's the tough part hamstrings suck, man.
It does. The tough part is, Robert Woods, you have to put him in tonight, right? If you're going to play him, we don't know that A.J. Brown's a lock to play tonight. So then it becomes who's up after him if you don't have A.J. Brown versus Robert Woods.
Robert Woods, where's your panic meter on Robert Woods right now?
Pretty high. I mean, he did score 8 last week. They keep talking about, I'd say like 7 or so. They talked about force feeding him more, but Van Jefferson's playing really well. So I don't want to play Robert Woods if I don't have to. I would go A.J. Brown and Marvin Jones. But most likely, Yeah, it depends on what your backup is if AJ Brown's not playing, and I don't know if we're going to see that tonight, Riley. But let us know what your backup is if you do have that.
I agree with that assessment completely. DH, should I play Collins or Damian Harris? I think we've done that one a couple times, but
Harris
generally speaking, we like Harris more. Collins or Shenault?
I'm a big Shenault fan this week, but I still prefer Collins.
I'm going Collins.
Yeah, I think Chenault's going to start to emerge as a big option.
I love this Collins action we're getting.
Yeah, I'm into Collins tonight. We better come on, Truth. We need him tonight, baby.
I know, seriously.
But we did this with Carlos Hyde. I remember we were sitting there like, how are we recommending Carlos Hyde so much? What are we thinking? And he had 20 fantasy points, and we're like, yes. So I'm feeling that again. I'm feeling this is history repeating itself.
The only red flag that Collins could do that would make me like jump off and jump ship immediately is if he gets right in the camera and goes, "Start me. You got to start me." And then we'd be like, "Oh, well, he couldn't be lying about that."
The only other risk I will bring up too is he has fumbled before in the past. Yeah, that's the only other risk. Knock on wood. Let's hold that. Yeah. But even if he did fumble, like the only other backs on the roster right now are Travis Homer, DJ Dallas, clear third down backs. I don't know that they could even go away from him if they wanted to, other than just letting Russ cook the complete game. And that's the other thing. Like if this becomes a negative game script, we can't sit here and pretend like Collins is without risk. And that's why guys like Harris, that's why I will take guys above him. But there is some great ceiling here again. Like he always looks good. I am sitting here. I really think Collins is a solid NFL player. I really do. But yeah,
maybe I'm kidding myself, but I do too. Michael Young wants to know DK Metcalf or Collins PPR.
You got to go Metcalf.
You got to go DK.
That's DK. That's DK for me.
Alex Collins or Zach Moss. Moss also up there on the rushing touchdowns.
I'm going Collins there for sure.
Me too. Zephyrica. Nice. Odell, Crowder, Galladay. Pick 2 in half-point PPR.
Galladay is actually my favorite. The other two, I literally have him 42 and 41. I honestly might feel better about Crowder against Atlanta, to be honest. That's tough.
Right, but it's in London. You never know. London's the great equalizer.
Yeah.
Shut it down, 25. Pick 2, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Mike Davis, and Collins. I'm definitely not picking Davis out of
Me too. Benching Davis, easy bench there.
Turn. I have Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. Should I trade one because it hurts my upside?
They're both studs.
I mean, it depends on your options.
No, I hate those questions.
No, I mean, they're both awesome. Daniel Howland, Hurts or Lance?
I'm going Hurts, like the original Konami code. Give me the guy that's been a top 10 QB all year. Lance does have that upside, but
comparable,
significant lower floor.
Not a crazy question though.
No, we got it again from Ben, but I'm going to go Hurts. The floor is just so much higher with Hurts with a similar ceiling. So yeah, give me that.
We already have seen it with Hurts, and we need to see it from Lance first.
Yeah, Collins over Shenault, Collins over Sanders. Should you start Collins? It depends on your options, but yes, probably.
Probably, yeah. Tomas Medina.
This is an ugly one.
Lubo. Zacchaeus.
Lobo. That's the wolf in Spanish, baby.
But he's got 2 O's in there. Lubo.
He
should only have one. Give me 1 O, Tomas.
Yeah.
Zacchaeus or Randall Cobb for my flex half-point PPR 16-person league. I would go Cobb.
I'd go Cobb, but if Collins is out there, we go him. Now, do you think I need to get on like just a rapid fire here? We got
let's keep going. We're going pretty fast. I mean, I think we're doing pretty good. Star Madison, it depends, man. If Cook's playing, no way. If he's not, then yeah.
Oh yeah, we already answered that one. I'm going Russ over that. I wouldn't sit DK unless you had some insane options.
Marcos Valdez, half-point PPR. Taylor, Williams, Cordero Patterson, or Alex Collins. You're only picking one. I'm probably picking Cordero.
Yeah, if you can only do one here, I might even go Taylor here. I don't know how many you need, Marcos, but I like Taylor after that big bounce back effort. Then Patterson's
playing Collins. The Jets. Ridley's out. I'd go Patterson first, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Stephen O'Leary, flexing Collins or Hollywood?
I actually like Hollywood. I really do. I mean, he's had 19 or more points in 3 out of 4 weeks. And the 1 week he didn't, he dropped 3 touchdowns. He should have had 35 that week. Big fan of Hollywood.
Fournette or Collins?
I'm going Collins myself until we knew that we don't know right now if Gio's going to be out or not. So just ride Collins, baby.
Mike Davis or Collins?
Collins.
Trade Gibson.
No, we're not doing trades. We have too many questions tonight.
Too much. All right, we have too many. We have too many right now. Shane, Joe, Collins or Hunt? I like that.
I'm going Hunt there. I mean, I'm going Collins over Hunt, I think. Yeah.
Brandon Biesic. Hey, guys, need some help here. Should I start Woods, Collins, or Jacobs as the flex?
I'm going Collins again, but just a reminder, Thursday night, you should never flex those people myself. That you shouldn't.
That's what Butterfly Girls says, and we agree. Brandon Johnson, Collins or Mike Davis, PPR? Collins, definitely. Taylor Malone, am I crazy for starting Collins over Amari Cooper at flex, PPR? I think I'm leaning Cooper, but I need this win. I don't think you'd be crazy, but I can see both sides.
Yeah, Cooper's been a little bit boomer busty, whereas Collins, you can lock in 15 to 20 touches most likely. I'd probably still go Cooper, but yeah, that's a tough one, Taylor. That's a really, really close one. We already answered that one. Don't ask your questions a million times. We already answered that one. Collins,
Moss, Gainwell, Davis, or Javonte, PPR.
Collins is the best option.
Look at Collins coming up everywhere.
Collins over Parker, Collins over Davis. I can't tell if there's repeats or not because we got a lot of Collins over Davis.
Some are. We'll do our best to weed those out. Yeah. Daniel Hallen, pick one to start. Pollard, Sermon, Gainwell, or Perrine.
Collins over all of them, but if it's got to be one of them, I'd probably go Pollard there. Appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for the like. And just a reminder for those of you out there, if you don't mind liking, if you're new to the show and you like what we're doing, you want your questions answered, hit that sub, hit the bell. We'd love to have you regularly with us here.
Ashish Jetley, Marquise Brown, or Kenny Galladay. I'm going Hollywood.
I'm going Hollywood there too, even with liking Galladay's setup this week.
Collins or Brown? We've had that one before. It was very close for both of us. We both kind of grudgingly like Brown, but I could go either way on it.
Yeah, I like Brown a little bit more, but it is damn close.
Cam Horton, PPR. Would you start Russ Wilson tonight or keep riding the hot hands with Daniel Jones versus Dallas?
I'm going to go Russ. It's a shootout style atmosphere tonight. The second highest over under. Daniel Jones is the hot hand, yeah, but it's also Daniel Jones. You could get that cool hand just as fast.
Damian Harris, Alex Collins. We like Harris a little more.
I do like Harris more, yep.
Ryan Melconian, Collins, Gibson, Fournette, pick 2.
Benching Fournette myself.
Yep, absolutely. Jaden, I have Cooks, Higgins, and Patrick. I need to start 2.
I'm going to bench Patrick there.
Play Higgins, definitely. Higgins and Cooks.
Higgins and Cooks myself, yep.
Jack says, Wolfie, what up, dog? However, this one's for the truth. Do I start Lockett or Corey Davis, half-point PPR?
You'll get nothing from me, Jack.
I know. I would probably go Lockett. You're putting me I'm stressed. What would you say, Wolf?
I would go Lockett too, but fuck you, Jack, for not wanting my opinion.
Thanks,
I love you, Jack. Thanks for being here, brother.
I love the love. Collins or Fournette? Definitely Collins.
Yeah, Alva, we won't answer. I guess not. So I'll be looking for your question to make sure I don't answer it, asshole.
Braden left. Collins, Connor, or Javonte Williams?
I'm going to go Collins over all those guys myself.
Me too. Iago Barreto, you guys starting Collins over Hilaire?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so, but that is interesting.
That's a really close one, yeah.
Woods or LaVisca? I'd go LaVisca. Woods.
I go LaVisca over Woods. Yeah, I'm feeling him. Tennessee's getting up the third most points to receivers. I'm a fan.
All right, Sammy, Gibson or Collins? Full flex, full PPR. Again, don't put him in the flex, but PPR.
Yeah, I would go Gibson for sure. I got to. I know he's been a little bit of a bust, but it's Gibson. Like you got to keep going for it.
All right, we got about 18 minutes left before kickoff, guys. SH33 done. Playing Collins over Pollard, Javonte, all caps?
Yes, I am in all caps. Yep.
Kobe to Shaq, Collins or Gibson, half per.
I go Gibson, but that is a tough matchup. I mean, it's the toughest run D, one of the toughest in New Orleans. I can see wanting to go Collins, and if in your gut you feel it, go with it, roll it. Like you have my permission to do it, but I'm not. I would go Gibson myself if I had those options staring at me, especially in half myself.
Collins or Antonio Brown? We
talked about this. A lot.
Very, very close. I mean, look, if I weren't so shallow, I'd be asking that same question.
And it's full PPR. I think that's where you get the edge for Antonio Brown.
Collins or Damon Williams? I'm assuming he means Damian Williams. I would go
19 and 20 for me. Literally, the flip a fucking coin. I prefer Damian, I think.
I'd go Collins, but it's close.
It's really damn close.
Parker, Odell, Galladay, Crowder, pick 2.
Galladay and Parker, I guess. I don't know. I don't like those options at all.
Maybe Crowder.
Collins, hopefully.
Maybe Crowder.
Collins.
Terry O'Hagan. Collins or Mike Evans?
Evans for me.
Wes says full PPR, CEH, Higgins, or Robert Woods.
I love you, Wes. Good to see you.
Cross Robert Woods off immediately from that list.
Yeah. I'm going to go CEH here myself, but Higgins is damn good.
I might lean Higgins if he's healthy.
We already answered
That's a big if. Big if. Collins Fournette. We like Collins more.
We like Collins more. Collins over Gibson. A lot of the same ideas here, so it's funny. That's too much. Can't answer that.
Adil Khan, Collins or Hubbard, half-point PPR.
Collins, because we don't know what the deal is.
You don't even know if Hubbard's even going to play, really.
Right.
Collins or Jacoby Myers? Collins. Alex Collins, yards prediction. What do you think?
I'll give it 65 yards, and then he's also going to catch 30 yards. So
I was going to say
around,
6. I was going to say 60-40.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think Collins looks solid in PPR over a lot of mid-range running back
Absolutely.
twos. Okay. Jake, Collins, Jacoby, or Allen Robinson?
I go Collins. I go Collins over all these guys. That Allen had the same situation, or Aaron did. So here we go. Fellas, on the comments, we let you guys.
We already talked about. It's close.
Collins over. We go Gibson over Collins, but it is damn close.
Kason Hampton says, should I trade Nick Chubb for Saquon Barkley?
I think I would, especially depending on your league settings. If it's standard league, no, Chubb's more valuable. Otherwise, Barkley with the receiving upside, yes, I go for it.
You wish Bud.
That wasn't a question.
Kamsula, Collins or Jacoby. We like Collins.
Yeah.
Nick N. Alex Collins or Moss.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to skim through and find the ones like we haven't answered.
Okay.
About I just lost my place there too.
Oh, you can't lose your place.
Patterson or Edmonds? I go Patterson for sure there. I love Patterson. I know you do too.
Collins, Harris. We like Harris a little bit more.
I like Harris more, yeah.
Elijah Mitchell or Latavius Murray. Not great options this week.
I'd probably go Latavius there just because 78% rushing share this last week.
Okay. Alex Collins Williams. We've already done that one.
I like Collins. Oh, it's real close though, yeah.
Alex Collins or Devontae Smith.
Oh, Smith is real good coming off his first 100-yard day, but give me Collins. Love it, but don't put him in your flex. Be wary of that.
Ben Tomzik, Ertz or Higbee? I like Higbee.
I'm going Higbee there. We've already done Collins or Fournette a million times. I go Deontay, as we talked about earlier. I absolutely love Deontay.
Goddard or Knox?
I go Knox. Tight end 4 this week. Absolutely love him. And guys, it just jumped like a million comments again. I hope
I know. I just was scrolling down and all of a sudden we got
keep
like
them going. I probably missed you. If I did, I'm sorry. I've already answered that one. Collins or Beasley? I'm going to go Collins, but I do love Beasley. I really do love Beasley to see like 12, 13 targets. He always does.
To me, this one's easy.
If it was full PPR, then I would think differently. Is it safe for the Rams defense? I don't know. Probably not. No, Seahawks have a good offense.
Don't love it. Michael Schwartz.
We answered that one. It's Collins.
Collins or
Kobe,
Gibson.
stop that. I'm not answering anymore for Kobe to Shaq. If you see him, no more.
Corey Davis or Antonio Brown with Ridley out?
I'm going to go Antonio Brown myself.
Me too.
Collins over Gibson. Collins and Fournette. I'm going to go Collins Gibson here.
Collins, Williams, or Robinson? Pick 2.
I think I bench Williams myself.
I would too. Should I do Claypool for Allen Robinson? I'd rather have Claypool, but man,
I don't want either, really.
I don't love either of them. Yeah. See if you can get somebody else. Collins, Devontae Smith, or Jalen Waddle at the flex?
I like Collins the most of these 3, but I probably, again, you can't have him in your flex.
Omar F. I missed the answer to my question. Phone took a dump. I'm going to play Collins and take a leap of faith with you, Wolf. Let's go. Deja vu a la Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, we
love
talked
you,
about
Omar.
that earlier. Exactly.
Collins or Latavius? Collins.
I don't know who Nathan Fillon is. Do you? I don't know, but we'll keep going.
I think he's talking about me. He's on some show. I don't know exactly who he is. But usually they tell me I look like Gronk.
Is that you or is that me?
I'm assuming they're talking about me, but I guess I don't know that for sure.
D. Johnson, we already said over Chenault. Everyone wondering Collins because it's Thursday. Exactly, right? That's why we do this on Thursday nights, and we love that you guys are all here asking us the questions. Hopefully Collins kills it because we're going him over most people here. We already answered this one.
Yeah. Chat,
please answer. We're not doing
trades.
trades. Sorry. Should I trade Claypool for Allen Robinson? No, who cares? They both suck. Collins.
We just did that one anyway.
Collins, Myers, Connor. Pick 2. I'd probably bench Connor here, especially in full PPR.
Me too.
For sure.
Me too. Matthias and Collins, Hunt Williams from Chicago. Pick 2, half-point PPR.
I think I bench Hunt here, which is crazy. He's the safest, but I think I'm going to bench him. Myself.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
I was kind of leaning towards Collins. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hunt's been surprised that they've managed to have 2 guys on Cleveland that have put up legitimate points, which was against my better judgment. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. I bench. Yeah.
Collins, Pittman Jr., or Fournette, pick 2. I'm definitely benching Fournette here.
I'm benching Pittman in non-PPR. I get
it's
the target.
non-PPR? Sorry, I'm benching Pittman. Sorry.
I think Fournette has a good bet to find the end zone. Myself, seen a lot of Collins Gibson, Kobe to Shaq, screw off, asking him your question a million times. Very selfish.
Corey Davis, Alex Collins, half-point PPR.
I'm gonna go Alex Collins over Corey Davis. I really am. That's kind of crazy. After a 20-point game, he's getting Atlanta as well. Like a good spot for Corey Davis. That's a tough one, but I'm going to go Collins myself.
All right. Collins, Myers, or Connors. We already did that
did that one. Please don't ask your questions a million times. Please answers if you get time. I'd be happy to. I don't know what your question is.
But we'll look for it.
If you guys are asking your questions a million times, then you guys can fuck off. Like, honestly, we have a million questions here, guys. I love that you want to be here and get your opinion on us. But like, come on, we're doing our best to get to everybody, and that does not help the process. So please be better than that. We get through the questions, as you guys can clearly tell by now. A lot of people are new, so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to swear you guys all out.
Well, the Wolf says fuck off in the nicest possible way.
Yeah, fuck off in the most gentlemanly way. Exactly.
Seriously, we'll get to them. That's kind of our thing. We'll do it. But if you ask it multiple times, then it's hard. People get put down to the bottom.
Yeah,
we'll get
say you're sorry, and then we'll make sure to keep getting to you. I've lost my place again because we've gotten a ton of comments yet again. I'm going to go, do they do Collins or Moss? Yeah, we've answered that like 30 fucking times, Jimmy. Collins over Moss. Myself, Collins over Sanders. Collins over Damian Williams. That was the quickest one. That's the toughest one for me. I think I go Damian, but I think you said Collins, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's tough. I go Heineke over Ryan. You as well?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. All righty. Let's keep going.
All right. Collins, Robert Woods, Corey Davis, Connor. Pick 2. PPR.
I'm gonna go Collins as my favorite, and I think I'm gonna go Corey Davis as the next one.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, I didn't mean to miss this. Yeah.
Yo, boys, Collins or Gainwell? Collins.
I go Collins over Gainwell, and I do love Gainwell, but much less guaranteed volume. We already answered that one.
Collins or Swift PPR? We answered that, but it was a long time ago. We like Swift a little more.
I like Swift. Yeah, I like Swift a little more in full PPR.
Collins or CEH? We like CEH a little more.
I do like CEH, but it is risky.
It's tough, though. Collins or Miles Sanders? I like that one.
I go Collins over Sanders. I have Sanders, and I'm happy I'm playing Collins right now.
Robert Woods or Collins? Definitely Collins.
I go Collins there. I could see the Woods blow up, but I'm not sitting here.
Yeah, I think Collins is a much safer for it. I don't know. We'll see.
We've
Johnson
answered. Come on, Purnell. Be better than that. I hope I see a sorry from you, Purnell.
Nate Freedom, Collins.
He asked it like 40 fucking times. I might.
Collins or Michael Carter?
I'm putting user in timeout, baby. I'm not blocking you, but I'm putting you in timeout.
Collins or Carter?
Collins, easily. Carter, yeah, I've seen some work, but not yet. Not into that.
Yeah. Sarah Riley. Hey, Sarah. Collins
good friend
or
of the
Boyd?
pod. I'm going Collins over Boyd myself.
All right. Full PPR, Woods or Chenault?
I like Chenault myself against Tennessee. Very generous defense.
Mattson need 2 half-point PPR. Hunt, Sutton, Davis, or Williams from Chicago?
I'm not going Davis. I think I'm going Williams and Hunt here myself.
Yeah, I agree. Chenault or Patterson?
Patterson.
Collins or Sanders? We like Collins.
I like Collins more. I do really like Sanders this week.
I also like Sanders.
That shootout game, I'm into it. But yeah, I'm going Collins.
All right, we just did that one.
Yeah, we did. We did that one as well. We've done that one a million times, fucking assholes.
Do you think some of these are really like the computers repeating them and maybe they're not reposting them again and again?
I don't know.
I wonder if they're even to blame on some of these.
Yeah. Ben is one of my favorites, though, and I don't mean to skip Ben, so I'm coming back to you, Ben.
All right, Ben. Skip me twice now. Crying emoji, but also laughing crying emoji. Knox, Higbee, or Schultz. Ooh. PPR, all in the same tier.
I love Knox this week.
I'm going to Higbee, but I'm biased.
Truth, we're down to 10 minutes. You mind if I just fucking click and rip? I think that's what we got to do. And if you hear something stupid, let me know. I'm going. Oh. Yeah. What do you think? Is you okay with it?
I'm just fucking with you. Go ahead.
I know. I want to hit them all, though. We got, a million coming in. So I'm going to click and rip. You hear anything that sounds stupid, just fucking slap the screen and tell me.
It's what I'm best
Carter,
at.
Collins, Devonta. I'm going to go Collins, and I'm going to go Devonta myself. Russ or Daniel Jones, I'm going Russ. I'm not answering that one again. Stop asking your fucking question a million times. We already answered this one, too. All right, baby Jesus is getting put in timeout. No more for you. Collins or Corey Davis, we answered. I like Collins. Collins or Najee. I go Najee, but I can see why you're hesitant because Denver's get up the fewest points to running back. Bench A-Rob to play Crowder or Javonte. Maybe for Crowder, but it's getting close. Ben Thompson, LOL, I'm just going to drink. Love these guys. Thank you, Denny Jennings. We fucking love
Thanks, Denny.
I'm putting Jack in timeout. He's asked that question a million times. Again, guys, if you've asked your question a million times and we've answered it for you and you don't like and sub this show after, you're just a prick, and we'll remember that forever. Collins or Woods? I like Collins. We've already talked about that one. Hunt, Hubbard, Sanders, Collins, pick 2. I'm going to go Collins because we don't know what the deal is with Hubbard, and I'm going to go Hunt unless McCaffrey's out, and then that becomes a lot closer. Find us on Sunday morning at 11 a.m., and we can give you a clear answer, but get Collins in for now. Super Prada. Collins, we already answered that one. You're going in timeout. I like this timeout function. Collins or Hunt, PPR. We've answered that before. I like Collins. What do you think of Collins or Hunt? That one is really tight.
Collins or Hunt? I would probably lean towards Hunt.
Yeah, I do too. Collins or Mike Davis? It's Collins for sure for me. Collins or Woods? We've answered. We're going to Collins on that one. Collins or Kareem Hunt? And it is PPR. That makes it trickier for Ryan. But Collins or Hunt? We've had that one a bunch, and I'm going Collins. Wolfie, D&D, I love you. Got to get to this. Manuel Sanders or Zach Moss? Injury bug is hammering me. Forget if you're full PPR or half, but I do love Sanders this week. That's a game they're going to need points. They're going to go after it. Collins or Woods? It's still Collins. Luke asking a million questions.
The janitor from Scrubs and Nathan Fillion, that's a good-looking janitor. I've never seen that show before.
Okay. Yeah, that's you. Take it.
Maybe it's you. I don't know. I've never seen
Collins or Pittman? I don't know who he is, but we'll take it. Yeah, either way, it's a sexy janitor. Collins or Pittman? I'm going Collins. I like the 12 targets, even in half PPR. It's good stuff. They're the best. I'm right behind you. Big Sox game. Yes, it is for sure, Ben. Great to see you. Collins or Edmonds? This is a good one. This is a new one. I really like Edmonds this week. The third highest target share now that James White's been knocked out. I go Edmonds over Collins. I do. Collins just has a little more risk, in my opinion, than Edmonds, even if his ceiling is pretty damn high. I'm going to go Edmonds over Collins. We've answered Collins or D. Williams. We're split on that. I like D. Williams. Truth likes Collins. CH or Collins, we've answered. Davis or Collins, we've answered a bunch.
Collins or Jacobs,
Collins for sure. Collins or Jacobs, the new one. Great show, fellas. Liked it and appreciate if you want to sub and join again. We appreciate that and that's more. I go Collins over Jacobs myself, though. I don't trust Jacobs fully yet.
I agree, but it's more because I just kind of am prejudiced against Jacobs.
Absolutely. Mark, okay, it's Collins over those two other options, Moss or Khalil Herbert. Definitely Collins for me. Collins, Jacobs, D. Williams. That's a good one, Aggie Kelly. I go D. Williams, but it's really fucking close. I do like the Seattle offense more, and they're kind of just like these backups thrust in the spot. I might be convincing myself on Collins over D. Williams. Get yourself a little Thursday night action. Fucking go for it. We already answered that one. It's Edmonds. Got Swift for Patterson and Renfro. Pretty good deal, but man, Patterson could just be a lead winner. I don't know. You might.
It's a good deal, or it might be a terrible deal.
It could go either way for you there. Fant or Knox? Ward Willis. I really like Knox this week, as we talked about in higher, lower Hail Mary. We'll wind it if you missed it. How the hell do we know what the hell was asked, idiots? Don't ask it a million. No, so Jimmy,
good point, Jimmy.
Good point. I'm not saying if like a million other people ask your question. I'm saying the same assholes that ask their question 30 fucking time, idiot. That's what I'm saying. So comprehend it. But no, that's what I'm getting at. The same people
don't talk to the janitor on Scrubs like that.
How many TDs do you think Collins gets tonight? I think one. Let's not get over ambitious here. Let's knock on wood there too. Let's not jinx him. Collins or Patterson, Eddie Gonzalez. It's Patterson. I know, Truth. You're agreeing with me there. Collins or Swift, we talked about. I like Swift a little bit more, but I know I'm higher on Swift than most, Truth. Do you think I'm crazy? Because he had a pretty dud week last week.
You've always been higher on Swift than I am, but I understand the appeal, especially in PPR.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm going Swift. It depends on if it's standard, though. It is Collins for me. Just got here. Collins must start. It really depends on your options, but I do really like him for sure. I do prefer Damian Harris. If we've already said Collins over Connor. You guys sound drunk. Fuck you, Jimmy. Let's ban him. And yeah, I've had a couple beers and I like it.
I've only
Thanks
had
for
one.
being here and paying attention.
I could drive right now, man.
Yeah, I could drive. Collins, Pittman, or AJ Green. I'm going Collins there. Beasley or D Harris. Flex for show some mercy. I like Harris. Full PPR, it does get close, though. I do think Beasley in line for one of those classic 13 target days. So I'm going to go Harris myself, though, even though I do like the upside of Beasley this week. Collins, Harris, Antonio Gibson. That's a really good one. Like Gibson, it should be. I'm getting so blinded by like early season ADP. Gibson does have a tough matchup, but it's just so hard for me to bench him. What's up, guys? Have CMC unsure if he's going to play. I would keep your options open to have AB. I would want to have AB, and you have some other options. I'd rather have Collins than pretty much any of these other guys other than AB. I'd rather have CMC than Collins. I'd rather have AB than Collins, and then Collins over the rest of your options there. Any. Calvin, Sanders, Higgins, Galladay, pick 2. I think I'm benching Galladay there. I think Trayvon Diggs is going to be on him, and that's makes me nervous. Collins over Murray? Yes, sir. Fant or Knox? I like Knox there. Collins, OBJ, A-Rob. I go Collins, Kevin Rice. I do. I'm going to go Collins for you. Appreciate you tuning in. I love you, Kevin. Cortland Sutton, James Robinson. I'm going James Robinson myself. Patterson over Collins? Yes, that's my opinion. Collins or AJ Green. Collins, LOL. I agree. But yes, Collins over 15. I think he could definitely do it. He had over 15 and a timeshare last week. Definitely some upside. Bracken, Collins or Hunt. I go Collins. Collins or Woods. Myself, I go him. Matheson, Davis, Cooper, Collins at the flex. Must be the. I go Cooper. I think Amari Cooper here. Collins or Deontay. I go Deontay myself. Collins, James Conner, Renfro. I go Collins in that situation. Jamar Chase or Deontay. Ooh, that's really tight, but I like Deontay. I fill PPR. The targets. Follow the targets. Aggie, Kelly, Collins, Jacobs, D. Williams. I think I'm going to go Collins over D. Williams. I've talked myself into it.
You got 3 minutes, Wolf.
Flex Collins over Harris. No, I like Harris better. Henderson, Kamara, Collins, CEH pick 3. So I'm benching 1. I'm benching Collins of all these options. That's close, though. Collins or Woods, PPR. Thanks, boys. Collins over Woods. Lance or Mayfield. I like Lance way more. Ward Willis. Miss you, Denny Jennings. Juju or Callaway. I got to go Callaway, but I don't like that at all.
No, I don't like those options, Denny.
Not at all. Knox over Fant. Ward Willis. You've asked that a million times, so you're getting put in timeout, but I hope you subscribe and realize that we're going to answer your questions next time. Lance or Stafford. I love Stafford. It's got to be Stafford. That's just way too safe and similar upside. Collins, CEH, Harris, Galladay, LaVisca, pick 2. I'm going to go Harris, and I'm going to go CEH here myself. Collins or Julio? I think you got to go Collins because we don't know if Julio's going to play. Seems like he's trending towards out. Patterson over Collins. That's been asked a million times by Eddie. Putting you in timeout. Be better next time, but it's Patterson. Ridley, Mixon, or Carson on one team. Oh, that's brutal, Tunes. Sorry to hear it. That's tough.
I got worse than that, Tunes. But
Collins, Javonte, Pollard, AB, Lamb need one running back flex. Collins is the running back. AB is the flex for me. Collins or Swift. It's Swift for me. Collins or Edmonds. It's Edmonds. John P., you've asked that a million times. We're putting you in timeout, but you're not blocking you. Please stay with us. Subscribe, like it, and be better next time. Which trade is better? Mixon or Thielen for Saquon? I like this timeout function. This is kind of nice.
I know you're drunk with power right now.
Yes. Saquon for Mixon. I don't know what you're asking here. Cooks or Collins? I'm going Collins over Cooks. I don't trust him. Stafford, Hurts, or Herbert? I'm going Stafford tonight. Get him on in there. Davis, Chenault, AB. I'm going AB. Collins or Sutton? I'm going Collins over Sutton. Flex Sutton, Damian Williams, AJ Green, Kirk, or Michael Carter. I'm going Damian Williams over those guys for William. Collins or Chubb? It's got to be Chubb. Come on now. Third time. Sorry. Oh, no, you got third time. You can go in that. Damian Williams or Corey Davis. I like Williams, but come back, DJ. I'm not positive on that one. 9:30 game. We'll have to figure out an early morning show. Truth, you want to get up early on Sunday, 9:30 a.m., preview the show with me?
I might be able to do it. My kid might have a basketball game at that time.
Coffee that starts.
If she doesn't, I'll do it with you.
Mixon, Elijah Mitchell, and Collins. You got to go Collins here because we don't know if either of the other two are going to play. Collins or CEH. We're going CEH. I think we're just about the last ones. I wanted to get to them all. We're so damn close here. But fuck, we've gotten so many questions and I love it. Collins or Kareem Hunt. I'm going Collins. We already answered that one. And I appreciate your apologies. Collins, Damian Harris, Gibson. I'm going Gibson. Lance or Stafford. Collins or Harris. Kittle or Knox for me, which is crazy. I liked and sub. Thank you so much, Jason. Swift over Collins. Clyde over Chenault.
Wolf, you're going to have to cut. It's 8:20. You still got like a million more questions. I will say that you wish Bud, who's been here the whole time, just posted. You guys should get some mods for nights like this, LOL.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We probably do need some mods. I love it. I love nights that we need mods.
No, me too. It's awesome. But
right
you're not going to be able to get to them all. A lot of them are ones you've already done. If you want to keep rattling, you can. There's still a ton more questions.
I mean, some of them won't be tonight, but I'll rip through. I'll give you guys 5 minutes more, and then I want to go watch Collins because I have him in. I'll lock that going. Sutton or Robinson? I'm going Robinson for sure. Schultz or Dawson? That's really close, but I like Dawson Knox. We already answered that one a bunch. Chenault or Clyde? I'm going Clyde over him. Tyson Williams? No, he's useless. Damian Harris, Collins, Myers. Collins, if you didn't already lock it in. No, I go Harris actually myself. Lance or Stafford? Lance. Philip, you've asked that a million times. We're putting you in timeout, but please consider liking and subscribing for your for being your inconvenient self here. Collins or Henderson? I'm going Henderson. I wish we saw this before kickoff. I hope you have in Henderson, but Collins is not a bad fallback if that's where you went. Jefferson or Cole Beasley? I'm going to go Cole Beasley if you didn't already. A.J. Brown, A-Rob, Woods, Devonta Smith, Davis. A.J. Brown's my favorite. Corey Davis is my next. I can't do trade questions right now, Yale. Sorry. Feel free to DM me at Roto Street Wolf. Collins, AJ Green, Pittman, P. Ryan. Collins is my favorite. I hope you got it in. If not, P. Ryan's my next favorite. Collins or Sanders? I go Collins over Sanders if you didn't already. Jay Taylor, Collins, Edmonds. I benched Collins here, so I wonder what you did. Let us know.
Me too.
Standard, Collins, Pittman, or Higgins. I go Collins over all those guys, and I do love Higgins, though. It's my next favorite. Collins, CH, Harris, Galladay, Laviska. Collins, Harris, and CH. I think we answered that one already. We do need mods. That is very true. I go Knox over Andrews. I go Clyde over Chenault. I go Collins over Murray. I'm not answering your trade question. I'm going to put you in timeout. Beasley or D. Harris, flex PPR. I go Harris there for sure. I went Swift over Collins. We got that one a bunch tonight. Clyde or Chenault. I go Clyde. You've asked that a million times, E-Pen. Into timeout you go. Green, Allen, or Cooks. I go Keenan Allen. Got to be. If that's who that is.
Thanks for the answer.
Thanks for the answer. Like and sub. Appreciate it, Aggie Kelly. And again, everybody else out there, we'd appreciate if you consider liking and subbing. Get here early. Get your questions in. We'll do our best. You two are a blast. Love the energy. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Awesome channel, subbed. I love it. I love all the new people we have coming in tonight. Yeah, probably got some people that are like, fuck off. I got a timeout. Well, fuck you too. But thank you guys for being here. We do really appreciate it. How long must I be blocked? Don't ask your question.
Hey, he said sorry, though. You said if he said sorry.
I do appreciate the apology.
Sorry. Come on.
You said sorry, Purnell. Now you know better, and I appreciate it. So, right. Woods or Jay Williams? I probably would have gone Woods there. So I wonder what you went. Let us know. Knox or Higbee? It's Knox for me. This sucks because a lot of these are already kicked off and we're probably too late, but we did our best. Thank you for the glad you liked the energy. I would have gone Collins, but if you didn't and Cook sits, then Madison's going to be a way better play there. Only been here 20 minutes, my new favorite fantasy show. Love to hear it. That's awesome. Thank you guys. I'm drunk. What's wrong with that, Jimmy? Yeah, Jimmy was a piece of shit. Cordero Collins, Jimmy, yeah, all those guys named Jimmy, fucking Jimmy Roto Street shit. Cordero Collins, CMC, it's got to be CMC, but Corderell's my next one, and I would wait it out for CMC. It's worth it. D. Williams or Collins, I go Collins. Yeah, we decide on that tonight. Pittman or Collins, I go Pittman. I go Collins there. Myself, CEH or Collins. We already said CEH, Collins or Taylor. I go Taylor myself. I think you said Collins though, if I'm not mistaken, right? What do you think of Taylor versus Collins?
Well, I initially said Collins, and then I kind of reeled it back and decided Taylor. Yeah. By the way, I just want to say at the very bottom of our subs, Ward Willis, who you put in timeout, has said sorry.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Ward Willis. And I appreciate the apologies. You guys now know, though, please don't ask your question a million times. It's fucking obnoxious.
Apology accepted, bud.
Apology accepted, though. It's a lot of people's first time here, and we love having you. We're so happy you're here. So we will not hold it against you. You come back and do that again, then you're blocked. So don't do it again. Ingram and Hooper. You get one strike here, folks. Ingram is my play, but I don't love either of them. I'd go for Knox. I'd go for Schultz. I'd go for who was our Hail Mary tight end this week? Max Williams. I'd go Max Williams over these guys. Collins or Kenny G. I would have gone Collins if we got it in time. We already answered Collins or CH a million times, so I hope you heard it. Collins over Mike Williams. I would not have done that. No. Mike picked 4. Cooper, Chase, AJB, Myers, Hollywood. So you got to bench one of them. I would be benching Myers here myself. Collins or Williams with Montgomery out. I'd go Collins. Staff Prague and Moss or Collins. I would have gone Collins. We answered that one a bunch, so I hope you were here in time and heard us answer that one. Alex Collins or Damian Williams. We've already answered that one a million times. Cordero or Collins. Cordero for sure. Collins or Marvin Jones. That's a pretty good new one. I would have gone Collins. I don't know how that will pan out, though. What do you think?
I also would have gone Collins, but I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah, Myers or AB. I like AB a bit more. Collins, 2 TDs tonight. I love it, Omar. I hope so. I have him going. Let's fucking go. Collins or Connor. I would go Collins. Flex Collins or AB. I go AB in full PPR. Ash Dodds. These don't really matter anymore, but we're just kind of ripping.
Well, like on principle.
On principle, because we say we answer every question, so we're going to answer every fucking question. Enjoy the game as well, Schneider. Collins or CH. I don't know if you've asked that a million times, Keith, or not. We got that one a bunch. Happy Bear, Collins, Sanders, or Murray. I would have gone Collins there, Rich.
Mahmoud's one of our guys. You got to answer this.
Yeah, Damian. I love Muhammad. Damian Williams, Devonta, or Chenault. I go Damian Williams here myself. Thanks, guys. Liked and subbed. I appreciate that. And
Thanks,
again, anybody out there, if you haven't already, the likes and the subs do greatly help us if you liked what you heard. Corey Davis or Robert Woods. I go Corey Davis. Keenan. Yeah, it was definitely Keenan. Thank you for your apology, Ward Willis. No doubt. Only thing Wolf's drunk on is newfound authoritative power to put people in timeout. You're damn right, Charlie. I'm very drunk on that power. Might have had a few beers too, so drunk on a lot of things. Wife put me in timeout yesterday. I love it. Brady, of course, over Montana.
What'd you do, Denny? What's up,
What's
guys?
that?
I'm new to your channel. What's up, guys? I'm new to your channel. I just
Oh,
subscribed.
yeah.
Just wondering your thoughts. Do you think Deebo Samuels is the rest of the season is a set it and forget it wide receiver? Honestly,
Yes.
I do, unless you have just like an outlandishly crazy wide receiving core.
Unless he gets hurt, then yes, I agree. We're just getting classic questions.
Oh, now
from
you're.
Willis, so,
We
I'm
still
just
love
gonna
you.
skip those. I appreciate the interaction, but good stuff for you, Truth Knox. Yeah, you gave me that one last night.
Thank you, Denny.
There, the end zone. I love
Last
that.
but
Denny.
not least, Mahmoud says, "Love you guys too." Thanks.
Awesome.
Bud.
What a night, Truth. Fucking probably the most questions we've got. Sub and likes. I'm in. Awesome. Really appreciate that, guys. Yeah, kind of the perfect storm of Alex Collins night. So, guys, let's pray for a big.
I feel like I
Collins
need to
season.
go, like, take a Xanax or something.
Exactly, and smoke a lot of weed after this. But
it's legal in this state, actually. Now that you mention
sure
it.
is. But guys, thank you so much. RoadStreetJournal.com is where we breed and feed fantasy wolves. You can find all our content. If you haven't been seeing that running line, I'll be live again on Sunday, 11 a.m.
We're going to be doing a show Monday also.
Maybe for coffee. I know. I wish we pumped that more while we had more people here live, Truth. Quarter one awards for those of you that are still here. Coming on Monday, we'll be playing a banger of a show, recapping the season so far. Who do we believe in that's blown up? Who we don't believe in that's blown up? Who's been a dud that we want to buy low on? All that good stuff. So those of you guys, be here for Monday's show, but we'll also be live certainly at 11 a.m. on Sunday. We always do sit-start show, me and my man CJ there. Truth, we might hit a little coffee and sit starts before the London game. I don't know if you're up for it, but I'm in.
I'll do it if my kid doesn't have basketball. I have to check the schedule.
We'll find out. So we might have double sit-start shows for you guys on Sunday. Awesome stuff. I appreciate all you guys saying you subbed up. So nice. I really appreciate it. It is legal. Ward Willis in Connecticut as well. Good stuff too. So enjoy it. Happy to answer. That's what we do, guys. Sorry if we missed you. That was a crazy night. Questions were jumping all over the place. It was awesome. So great stuff again. Thanks so much for being here, guys. Best of luck. Let's go, Alex Collins, baby. We all need him. And that's we're all, me and you are starting him, True. So that's the thing is, like,
we're both starting him. We're putting our money where our mouth is.
Well, that's what I love about our
5
show.
minutes of the game that I haven't missed. Hopefully he hasn't been carted off the field.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what I love. Is if we're giving you advice, we're following it too. So if we're rejoicing together, that's the best. If we're in pain together, we're in pain together, and we'll give you your apologies, but just know we got the kick to the nuts too if that's what happens. But let's hope we're all going nuts.
Right.
So let's do it. All righty, guys. Best of luck. Let's go, Alex Collins. RoadStreetJournal.com. We breed and feed you fantasy wolves. And if you like podcasts, the Fantasy Fullback Dive is where you can find us. I'm the Wolf.
I'm the Truth.
In the world full of fancy sheep, be that wolf, guys. Later.
Later.
Whew.